Hello and welcome to another edition of your mental coaching program. Today, I'm going to be talking about change, and this Mahatma Gandhi quote, "Be the change you wish to see in the world," sums it all up. Right, that's how we really desire to want to be in the world. We want to change those things that are broken. But here's what I want us to talk about today. I want to talk about the internal change and the stages we go through when we will approach change. And here's how it happens. Um, when change is approaching, like a project start, or when you're working on a skill or trying to implement a new style of swing, a new skill into your game, this will happen. Even introducing the new mental concepts that we've been working through, new mental game concepts, this will happen. You'll get into this, starting on the left there. You'll get into this unrealistic optimism. That's the high that we feel when we're moving into something new. Everything's exciting, everything's great. Yes, I've got this. And it is an unrealistic optimism. We think it's just going to keep going that way. But then what happens soon into this change, we find out just how hard it is, right? We find out that it's actually hard to implement change. It's hard to keep going because our brain wants to go back to our old ways of doing things. So we then get into this realized pessimism. It's like, this is never going to work. What am I thinking? I'm never going to change. I might as well just go back to the way I'm doing. We have a choice at this moment. We can keep going, or we can go back to the start and start a whole new project up and a whole new idea up, or we can just go back to our comfort zone and give up. The good news is there's worse yet to come, because as you go through this realized pessimism, then you really get into the hard work. And this is this abyss of despair, right? We get into this moment of, what was I thinking? This will never work. I'm useless. I can't do this. And what we want to do is just get out of there. Our brain wants to go back to our comfort zone. We want to go look for another high of this unrealistic optimism. So we want to try something new again. We want to do everything we can to get out of that deep despair. But this is where we can push through. And if we can get through that, we then get into this realized optimism. Realized optimism comes from the idea we know what's expected of us. We know the skill that we've got. We've mastered the skill. We can just do it flawlessly. And things are now moving on. And then we move on to growth and realization. This is where we implement it into our life seamlessly. The thing is, though, it doesn't stop there, because once we get there, we want to get back to the beginning and introduce something new and go through this cycle again. The cool thing is, if we know this cycle is going to happen in any change we choose, we can actually plan for it. Here's how we plan for it. I've shown you this slide before. In our present moment, that thing in the middle there, the dot in the middle, that's present. When we're looking towards our future, there's this cloud of confusion. The brain doesn't like confusion, so it looks back at our past for previous stories. It'll look back for fear, failures, our memories, anxieties, our beliefs. It will look back at all of these things to try and make a decision. So we're pulling our past into our present to make a decision about our future. To sidetrack this, to actually overcome this, we can visualize our ideal future. So if we go back into that slide previous and think about growth and realization, we want to actually visualize what that looks like. So it could be a visualization of a fantastic swing, a hit down line drive. It could be a shot into the top right hand corner. It could be the skills that you're implementing, the perfect game. Whatever it is in life, you visualize it as if you are seeing it in a movie. That actually then becomes a memory, and our brain doesn't know the difference between a visualization and real life. So if we visualize it, really visualize it, then that will actually become a memory, and now that's put in there. So when our brain looks back at our past, that's where it goes back to. And we can then, when we're going through this realized pessimism, the deep abyss, we can actually visualize where we're going, see the visualization, and use that to drive us through into this realized optimism and growth and realization. Remember, change is inevitable. You will go through change. Growth is optional. It's up to you. You choose. Do you push through? Do you retreat back to your comfort zone? I want you to push through. Think about that, and I'll catch you next time.